The operating theatre was overflowing, many of the staff in tears. In 20 minutes, 40 seriously injured were brought for emergency surgery. 2 were already dead.
"1989 presented a rare opportunity.
A huge volley of shots just as I left the front line caused panic.
My name is Edgar Huang. Photography has been my passion my whole life. So on April the 15th, 1989, at the time, the ousted General Secretary of the Communist Party, Hu Yaobang, died. People just loved him, and so voluntarily they went to Tiananmen Square to mourn for the death of Hu. And they wanted to have the kind of political reform to move forward. So that's why they proposed that we should stop the corruption in the government. We should have a free election of the government officials. And then the students saw that and they just took to the street. They said, we are going to demonstrate to the world what we want. Thousands and thousands and thousands of students from different universities came out of the universities. The government said, well, this is a riot.
This is an NBC News special report. China in crisis. Here is NBC News correspondent Tom Brokaw.
Good afternoon once again, everyone. Well, it is now the middle of the night in China. It is very early on a Tuesday morning in Beijing, and it's fair to say that the capital city is still up for grabs. The army is controlling...
The noise of gunfire rose from all over the center of Peking. It was unremitting.
The troops have already occupied 14 university campuses in Beijing, and also they heard reports of massacres on campuses.
We think that we should live peacefully. We don't want the army, we don't want the gunshots and the fight.
But the slaughter goes on unabated. We visited hospital morgues piled high with bodies.
So the students went there and knelt down in front of the Great Hall. And the students in the back shouted, don't kneel down, don't kneel down. And no government officials wanted to come out to talk to the students. And they got very frustrated, and then the students in the back wanted to march into the hall. And so the police, of course, were in front, and I was in between. I was between the policemen and the students. And so that's why when they pushed this way, I moved along. And then when the police pushed it back, I was back. So I was just like a first-hand observer of the whole thing.
We deplore the decision to use force, and I now call on the Chinese leadership publicly, as I have in private channels, to avoid violence and to return to their previous policy of restraint.
Then the government began to search, especially photographs, to identify people, to arrest the people.
The army now holds the key to China's appalling power struggle. All day, the crackle of gunfire has haunted this capital city.
And I was afraid.
2 new estimates, apparently based on official information, refer to death tolls of 5 or even 7,000.
Sorry, I couldn't really hide because everybody knew. A lot of people saw me in Tiananmen Square. Taking photographs in those days itself was something really bad.
Most of the troops surrounding Beijing were not told what they were going to do or what they were supposed to do. And now after this huge bloodbath, perhaps some of them, if not most of them, are again waking up to their senses.
I had to really thank my wife, my late wife, for being brave in those days. She went to talk to the soldiers to tell them that you are not supposed to be here. And you should not kill any citizens because we are having a peaceful demonstration here. Those moments have been in my brain for all these 25 years. In China, there was no chance. There is no chance even today for any of these photographs to be shown to the public.
China's government has done its best to erase the massacre from their history books.
Try searching Tiananmen Square on China's heavily monitored internet, and results are censored.
Fortunately, I'm here. I'm still living. And I have, treasured every day that I live here.
This sea of heartbreak, lost love and loneliness, memories of your caress, so divine. How I wish you were mine again, my dear. I'm on the sea of tears, sea of heartbreak.